and it should start timing out.
Okay.
All right, so basically people are saying, well, when is 144,000 going to gather? It's got to happen by a certain date. Now, we've got 942 days to go from that signing, and we already had started the gathering because this document was put together by some of our people in America that have legal minds and know the proper syntax for doing it. So once this is started, we have the gathering of the 144,000, which is all to do with the Great Pyramid, which is an altar to the Lord in the midst of Egypt. And it has 144,000 alabaster stones which weigh 7 tons apiece. There's only 19 remaining. It's very significant that the weight of the stone is 7 tons because, like silver tried in a furnace, you reincarnate 7 times over and you get it right. So each lifetime that you spend on the earth is like silver being tried in a furnace. And when you boil up silver to a molten state, any dross or grit or dirt in it will float to the top, and then you skim it off. So we are in the end time because we're going to be crossing the Milky Way galaxy equatorial line, predicted by the Great Pyramid, but also predicted by the Olmec and the Mayan calendars. So these are not something that we can say is not going to happen. It's going to happen. So we need a period of time, 942 days, where the 144,000 have already gathered. They're already out there. And they're already talking about what I'm talking about. So the dots are slowly being connected. There is no other alternative because I've been doing this for so long. They say, well, you've got to have, according to prophecy and according to genetics of the royal line, you've got to have the most royal person sitting upon the stone of scone to be anointed and then become the king of Israel, which is the king of England. That's what it's all about. So we have to force the issue because the usurpers or the pretenders to the throne have been taken over by the Khazars out of Russia, and they are manipulating and have been manipulating all the way through back to the beheading of Charles I to put into power people that they chose to be the king as opposed to the true genetic line. But the true genetic line cannot be eliminated. Up until now they could keep it suppressed because no one knew about it. They controlled all history. But since we have the internet and we have myself telling you what it is and then revealing miracles on a daily basis, then it's got to say to yourself, well, how does he do it? The answer is, I do it because it is my will that this is being done in the first place. I made the prophecies, I wrote it, and now I'm doing it. So when we look at the document itself,
let me give a close-up on that, Brian.
if you look at the face on there, that is what has been coming out of the studies into the Shroud of Turin. So the Shroud of Turin, what is actually coming out of the images of the Shroud of Turin is in fact an old man's who is the soul of Jesus. So when Jesus said, if you've seen the Father, you've seen me, when you've seen me, you've seen the Father, his soul, when it left his body of a 33-year-old man, was God. So what you have on the Shroud of Turin is a short-bearded, short-haired man which looks exactly like God.
It looks a bit like you, Brian. When
It
you
looks exactly like me because it is me.
Mm.
That's the whole point.
Do you remember that photograph being taken 2,000 years ago in the tomb?
I remember a great deal of everything. A lot of things I don't talk about is because people don't comprehend, and you really have to educate people up to understand what I'm talking about, and then I can open up more secrets as we go along.
Brian, I remember when you said to me back when I was in the other house, you said to me, pray to God and ask God if I am Jesus. And I at that moment, remember, I did a quick prayer and I said, if it's true, give me a vision. And I saw you coming back with Mary, walking back, and I saw Joseph of Arimathea come out of the temple, and he had this garment on. I can still picture it today. And I could see you. And I saw her face, I saw your face, and I thought, now, I don't know how that could happen, that kind of miracle could happen when I prayed and asked. But I'm beginning to see some of the flashbacks that you're talking about in your mind. You say you can vividly remember a lot of those things.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
what I do is I don't prod people to bring these things up. I'll just sit with you as I did that day, talk about different things, and then casually mention something, and then all of a sudden you'll have the urge to do that, which you did, and you did recall. And there's one other thing you recalled, which was the colour that was underneath the clothing that Mary was wearing.
Yes, I do, and it was a very beautiful blue. She had like a black garment around, and on the inside lining, just sort of back about an inch from the outside face, back on the inside of the hood was a beautiful blue lining, and the blue was almost like a radiant, indescribable blue. Like it was so vibrant in itself, it almost was an unreal blue, not like you'd see today in this light, but it was radiating with a kind of a it's a blue similar to the blue on the collar of your shirt there, the blending of those blues, and it was amazing.
It's the royal colour.
Well, it had such an amazing depth to it. It had life in it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's right. That's what I saw as a child. So I don't know whether I had mentioned that to you by then, but
no. Well, I saw it myself before you mentioned it.
Yeah. So this is the kind of thing that goes on. So I have always been reluctant to.
Might I also add that Mary had dark skin?
Well, she wasn't black. She
wasn't black. She had a brown. She almost like some of the Arabic people are a bit that colour, you know, Middle Eastern.
I've been in the sun for 4 weeks walking.
Yeah, but she had this natural olivey, browny coloured skin.
Olive skin. Yeah, very, very tall, slim woman. Pretty. And light auburn hair. So cool. So this is the kind of thing that I don't, and I didn't prompt you at that time to, and nor had you read it anywhere that I'd written it down. So this came to you individually. And that's the defining pointers that that make people believe that there is something greater than what they have been told by the likes of scientists around the world, that we evolve and we're not spiritual beings and so forth. Well, the reality is we're going to be taken over very shortly, and we need that time frame of 942 days from the time I signed this, and that is exactly when the stars lined up in this sacred cross in space, and revealing that the total astronomical units of all those planets added together is a distance of 66.666
right.
astronomical units.
You're saying these stars are lining up. Is it in the internet? People are talking about it?
Yeah.
And what does it look like? What is it?
Well, it is actually a star. I'll give you the... it's just here somewhere. It's under here. That's it there. You can take it up close to the camera. This is downloaded from the internet. I'll do it.
So this is actually a map of the heavens, is it?
Yeah, this is what they're talking about.
So I don't know whether anyone can see that there.
When you point out to the bottom, there's Uranus. I like to say Uranus as opposed to the proper way of saying it.
Uranus.
With Jupiter. Jupiter's very significant because it's 88800 miles wide, so that's your Jesus number. Saturn, it gives off energy 9.42 times higher than it receives from the Sun, so there's your 942 number again. We've got Mercury coming around the Sun. It orbits just over 88 days, so there's your sacred number again. And then you've got Pluto, and when you consider the speed that these orbit around the Sun is so slow, we're talking hundreds of years before they come back into an orbital position. But in the meantime, these faster planets are whizzing around, and therefore the configuration that is in space today, they're saying is between 6 and 6,500 years each time this happens. So I've calculated it back and I've got 6,666 years. This is what it actually comes down to. So the 6666 number is how many times the word Lord is found in the King James Bible verse total. So then we've got all of the planets lined up in length from